What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of the Degenerates Uncensored Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Soren Krinsky, and I'm here with my other host, Mr. Ryan Anderson.
What's good? What's
What's been going on with you since the last time we recorded? I guess it was like a week and a half ago, a week ago.
About a week and like a day ago. Some big things. I know we'll get into it later, but I moved out in a new place now.
Let's go.
Just getting set up there. I am currently back in my fam's house because I do not have Wi-Fi at the new pad yet. So, gotta come back just for old time's sake, really. It's been all 3 days. So yeah, we're back, we're rolling. But yeah, moved out, looking good. Got a bed set up. I know most guys just mattress on the floor. I got a whole bed frame. Like I got more than one pillow. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I was that guy for about like a month and a half when I first got my apartment in Birmingham. I just had the mattress in the middle of the floor, and like when people would come over, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm just like, "I haven't got a bed frame yet. My bed."
Honestly, I owe it all to my neighbors. They were looking to get rid of a queen size mattress, queen size bed frame from IKEA, and they're like, and a box spring. They're like, "You can just have it," and I was like, "Sold." Otherwise, I'd be doing the mattress on the floor thing for a substantial amount of time. Like, who has the time to order a bed frame?
Do you have any furniture?
I have a nightstand.
Okay. Well, what about the rest of your apartment?
I have a nightstand.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's what's going on with your background here? Because just explain it for the people listening, because I see this and
we'll get right into it. This is Tanya Harding. For those of you who don't know, she paid somebody during some year's Olympics to smash. I forgot her name. Whatever. Smash somebody's kneecap so that they couldn't compete and do a triple-double whirly bird or something on the ice for ice skating. And I chose it as the background along with wearing a soccer jersey today because our number one headline for the week is going to be the women's PSG team, a midfielder. I apologize for any mispronunciations here. I do not speak French. Aminata Diallo, midfielder for women's team PSG, was arrested in an investigation because of allegations of assault last week on teammate Kira Hamarawi, maybe?
Don't ask me. I can't pronounce anything.
Who is said to have been hit by iron bars by multiple masked men that came and assaulted her. Obviously, this is terrible, but I had to choose Tanya Harding and this to kind of keep it on brand with the story. Last week when we recorded, had the Del Mar racetrack for the Breeders' Cup got cleaned out. Wasn't a great time. But, Eric and I, my boy, we were over there. We were jamming. That's for later on, maybe. But yeah, so PSG midfielder did the full Tanya Harding effect. And it was all due to just having Kira not able to participate and compete so that Aminata Diallo could get her spot. And obviously that did not work out for her as she has been arrested. Wish all the best for Kira. I hope she recovers quick. But yeah, wild story coming out of women's PSG team out there in old France.
Yeah, we gotta. I mean, Taylor, who's not with us again this week, he's gotta do some midterms, but he's a PSG fan, so we
every
gotta
third
give
word
him some
out
shit.
of his mouth is "a la le bleu." So
yeah. Something like that. I don't even know if he speaks French, but whatever, it works. Oh my gosh! Well, wow, that is something else. I can't even they're teammates. Like what?
They're teammates, and she goes after who knows, man? That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy shit the world's just going through. Speaking of crazy shit, headline number 2 really has a kicker.
Oh my God!
You take this one.
Yeah. Oh God. The whole Dave Chappelle thing with his whole. I guess it was his special that just came out, The Closer. I should know this considering it was a big ass billboard of his face with The Closer outside of my apartment building that I see every day. So essentially he came out and he made some jokes about trans people, transsexuals, transgender. And the backstory is Netflix came out and said, we support you through everything, you're a comedian. This is your job. You make fun of people for a living. and you make fun of just everything for a living. And so there was actually a walkout at the Netflix headquarters, which I think is also down the street from me, and of a bunch of people that work at Netflix saying that they want them to take down Dave Chappelle's special. And I think apparently it was like a whole shit show too, because I saw a bunch of stuff on it when it happened that there were other people outside like protesting as well, and like in support of Dave Chappelle. And so there were people like saying like, oh, like we support transgender rights and transgender, but like we support Dave Chappelle as well. And then all of a sudden, like, so there were these two protests going kind of against each other. And then some woman comes up and starts chanting Black Lives Matter. And then everyone else starts chanting Black Lives Matter because everyone's on the same side. And then everyone kind of looks at each other like, wait, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So it's a whole shit show. And Ryan, I'm going to let you read the quote because I know you are the biggest fan of Dave Chappelle. So I'll let you take this one.
All right, so I'll read the quote and then I'll kind of give my 2 cents on it because this is wild. Quote: "First of all, you cannot come at me if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing at a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny." Honestly, don't know who Hannah Gadsby is. Maybe I should have done a little research there.
She's a comedian as well.
Well, I assume so. But have not listened to any of Hannah Gadsby's specials. I assume they're great. I'll get around to him eventually, but Dave Chappelle, back on the subject. It is possible in this world, believe it or not, to be both pro LGBTQ plus and like Dave Chappelle. The trick is just to not get offended. The point of stand-up comedy is literally comedic relief. Getting offended by things like that is just like, yes, they're pretty, what he said could be taken in an offensive way if they were said outside of a comedic stage. Like, for example, when DaBaby a few months ago came out on stage with absolutely no reason to just, I think he made just a bunch of homophobic comments. I don't have the quote in front of me, but he came out, that's uncalled for. That's, why are we doing that? But Dave Chappelle has been known in all of his specials, going back to the Chappelle Show, nothing's off limits. Like, naming other comedians, Bill Burr does similar things. He'll make fun of anybody. Louis C.K. would before, I mean, he got canceled for a good reason. Let's not get into that one. That was very justified. But like, he would still make jokes about everybody. Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, like, they're no holds barred types of comedians who just go after it. I think the thing with Dave Chappelle is that he's basically seen as the GOAT of stand-up comedy by most 100%. People's eyes.
Like, he's the GOAT in the community. Like, everyone in the community thinks he's the GOAT too.
He's the guy. He walked away from the Chappelle Show offering him millions of dollars for the contract, just ghosted him and said no because he wanted to do his own thing. Disappears, comes back with a bunch of stand-up comedy specials on Netflix, tries to get canceled for that. They don't cancel him because I believe it was Bill Burr who said, if you don't look at your phone, you can't get canceled. Because you don't see that you've been canceled, you can't get canceled. And then Dave Chappelle comes, and in this special, he's like, people are going to try to cancel me, but guess what? This is it, motherfuckers. Like, he came for his special to say what he wanted to say. He is not a person that comes from a place of hate, so I just don't understand how people can get so offended. Like, if you listen to other comedians, they'll make black jokes all the time. We don't get offended. We think that shit's funny as fuck. Like, they can make, Jewish jokes, they can make whatever kind of jokes. People aren't going to get offended by it because it comes from a place of comedy, and that's the whole point. Like, so, I mean, they tried to cancel him. It's not going to work. You can't cancel the greatest of all time. I just, like, I have friends in the LGBTQ plus community. Haven't talked to them about the Dave Chappelle special, to be fair, but I mean, I haven't heard anything about it, like, from them. I've watched Dave Chappelle specials with some of them before in the past, not the closer, but I've watched other ones. I believe it was Sticks and Stones, watched the Chappelle Show with them. And then he has one other special that was pretty good. But getting offended by the easiest of statements, especially in a comedic situation, comedic atmosphere, I just can't that part that really grinds my gears, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's meant to be funny, and to see people upset by it sucks. But then also you got to look and just think like, wow, they really got upset over jokes. Again, comparing it to what the baby said, that's not okay. That did come from a place that's like not in a comedic atmosphere, not great of him. But like Dave Chappelle is on the stage and like, transgender community is going to try and cancel me for this, and then goes on for transgender jokes, and then they try to cancel him for it. So they're just following what he said. Like he's not coming. Yeah. So
he's not coming directly at them. Before
he just used them as the butt of his joke, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and also I saw as well in a rebuttal, like Hannah Gadsby like posted something on Instagram, and she essentially was just like, because Dave Chappelle, I think, came out and said like there's no line in comedy because then that wouldn't be comedy. And so she essentially came out and just bashed Dave Chappelle in a way. It's just like there's no such thing as if there's no line, and she just like was completely honest with him. And I'm just thinking like, yo, this is actually good, because then like, all right, if there's no line, then people could stop being so PC and they could just say whatever they're actually feeling, rather than like getting all political and like trying to like dance, like walk on eggshells and whatnot. So I think that was good. And I mean, kind of a perfect segue. Dave Portnoy always says this as well. He says, it's like with Barstool, it's equal opportunity. So it's like Dave Chappelle's not just making fun of just transgenders. He makes fun of everyone. And it's like that's the same thing with Dave Portnoy and Barstool. They don't just make fun of one group. They make fun of all groups.
Anybody.
Or Family Guy, or really anything. Like they can get away with it because they're not targeting one group. They're targeting everyone. So essentially, it's dumb that anyone is getting upset over it. And like, I'll say that on record. And if we get canceled, well, we already expected it.
It is dumb.
Yeah.
It is dumb. The PC culture I can't stand. Obviously, don't purposely go out and offend people.
No.
That's its own thing. But yeah, if you're coming from a place of comedy, then there shouldn't be a fucking line there. Like Pete Davidson, to use another example while we're on the subject, his dad died in 9/11. That is like half of his jokes at the moment. Like when he goes and does stand-up, that's his jokes. He did the roast of Justin Bieber or something. And here we go. It was, like one of his jokes was like, you know, Justin, when I first met you, I felt bad about not having a father. Then I met yours. Now I'm glad mine's dead. Like that was one of the jokes that he told. And
that's like
people getting offended. You just gotta, if it's comedy, you just gotta take the line away, because if it's equal opportunity, it's equal opportunity. Like,
exactly.
But yeah. Dave Portnoy, I only paid attention to part of this. I knew it was a hit piece that was like 8+ months in the making, of like one or two reporters just trying to get as much dirt on him as they could. They didn't really find anything substantial until the one girl's statement. Soren, if you know more, please take it from here. I watched his video on Twitter, the like 2 little segments there. But other than that, where he like came out and spoke, you know, obviously in denial of it. But go ahead and
so essentially, Business Insider released an article, I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday, essentially accusing him without accusing him, using wording, I guess, portraying him in a way as a rapist. So they pulled up like these 3 witnesses that Dave Portnoy supposedly raped or had violent sex with them. And as in Dave Portnoy fashion, he came out and was like, "This is complete utter bullshit. There's no shot that I did this." Like, he even came out and said, like, I know the girls that you're talking about, and like I've talked to them, I've kept in touch with them. Like, this is complete bullshit. The 3rd girl is just completely made up. And I was actually listening and watching some of the shit today that he was talking about. And I think on the Dave Portnoy show, he was talking about it as well. And he pretty much just like debunked everything that the article said. And one of the only source that they cited in the Business Insider article was a girl that she had talked to Dave a few times. but they never met up. They never talked. And this girl is a mess because she's the girl who she went on Dr. Phil and essentially said, I like to lie to people. I'll do anything for clout. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, all right, so this is your source. This is the source that you're going to name. And he has receipts from like the girls that are like mentioned in the story, in the article. And there was one of them was this girl who said that that he chased her around and she didn't want to have sex with him. And he was like, that's just not true, like whatsoever. And in the article, it said that he kicked her out, but in reality, she stayed at his house for another 2 days after the supposed incident, whatever that is. And then the other girl, there was a police report that was submitted by this girl's mom, that she was blacked out and like Dave had sex with her while she was blacked out and she doesn't remember anything. But Dave literally has all the DMs from her talking about how she enjoyed that time and how she kept trying to pursue Dave and how she would flex that she hooked up with Dave. And it's just like, it's the pieces are crumbling here. Like Business Insider, and they released the article right before the earnings of Penn, which Penn owns Barstool Sports. So
not to cut you off here, he also posted that one of the people that was behind the hit piece can't even trade on the market because of previous fraud and securities involvements that he had. And he was one of the people who was very clearly like anti-Portnoy, which he's a controversial guy and all, but like as one of the people behind this 8-month hit piece in the works, then you release it right before their earnings, as Penn, I think in the past like year, has been sensational. It's very clearly a manipulation tactic. Obviously, if any of the stories are true, put Portnoy below the jail. But from what he's proven on social media through screenshots of said interactions and through the inconsistent behavior of the reporters that were behind this story, not to mention one of the girls that gave the quote who went out onto Dr. Phil and did the Cardi B do anything for clout, like now we're here.
She was the one who started the rumor that Jeffree Star and Kanye West were hooking up.
Oh my God. It was that person?
It was
I
that
know exactly
person.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. Her name's like Eve something. Yeah, she started that whole rumor. And on Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil was like, why would you lie like this? And she said, well, I just feel like coronavirus is getting more attention than I am. So I need to post something to get more clout and attention than coronavirus.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Like,
yeah. So essentially, I think they're just trying to cancel him in the way of, I mean, besides, I'm sure that there might have been something going on with the Penn stock that's just too sketch. And then they just want to, there's obviously like, you either love Barstool or you hate Barstool.
Yeah, there's no middle ground there. And to be fair, Portnoy has a few sex tapes out. And from all the sex tapes, he likes it a little rough. Like that's kind of his mojo, but it's always been very consensual. He's a very straightforward guy.
Wait. Have you seen the sex tapes? Because it sounds like you have.
Well, I've seen them. I've seen them on Twitter because they'll get leaked. I'll be scrolling through my feed and there'll be some outrageous caption followed by Portnoy with like a choke collar and stuff. And clearly it is consensual in the video. But like, I mean, some people like it that way. No judgment there. But like, then on the flip side, you can't go 6 months later after saying that you liked it and enjoyed seeing him and then go against that word. For whether it's clout or that girl just seemed to be straight up lying. Yeah.
So all interesting. Going from one hit piece to another. Don't know if that's really a good.
I don't think this is going to be a hit
never
piece.
Mind. Never mind. I took that one back. That's not a good transition. Let's just move right into it. So Astroworld Festival happened this last weekend, and it was awful. And the fact that I was about like this close to just pulling trig and going, I was really about to send it. The only thing stopped me. I wanted to go with one of my friends who lives in Houston, and I was like, yo, let's go, like let's get VIP. and like we don't have to worry about all the lines and everything, and we can just chill and drink at the bar and just, you know, have a good time. And he was just like, I can't pull it or swing it. I was like, ah, damn. Well, luckily, I mean, I wake up Saturday morning to, I think, 3 people. You were one of them that said, look what happened. Did you see what happened at Astroworld Festival last night? And I was like, what? And then you sent me an article. One of my coworkers sent me something as well. It was like 8 people died, ages ranging 14 to 27 from Astroworld Festival. And I was thinking, wow, what in the world happened? Like oh, excuse me,
like
burp. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, like obviously, if any of you guys haven't heard the story yet, it appears that there was multiple people, obviously ongoing investigation, but it appears that people were going through the crowd, injecting people at random with like some type of drug, or I don't know what it was, but there was a report of the security guard who, as he was tending to, I believe it was an unconscious person, he felt a prick in his neck. He went unconscious. They brought him back using, I believe it was the drug Narcan, and then he described the events leading up, and the medical examiner also found a prick on that security guard's neck that looked like an injection site. Obviously, everything's still ongoing, very tragic. People, though, that are painting Travis Scott as like the sole bad guy here, I think is the wrong thing to do. There's videos of him out of him stopping the concert because he sees somebody unconscious, told them to clear out, wait for medical aid to get there. There's other videos obviously going around where he's trying to like lead the concert. I just don't think he realized the severity of it. I know Kylie Jenner tweeted out or just put out a statement that Travis didn't even know the extent of what was going on until after the concert, when he went back into the back area there and then learned of everything. Because people pass out at concerts all the time. They'll do drugs. They'll just not drink water, whatever it'll be. They'll pass out. Most artists do stop. Travis stopped when he saw that somebody was unconscious, had him get helped out, thought that was the end of it. Obviously, like everything kind of happened at once there, and there were like 8 people or multiple people that went down at once. And then he, like, you know, that the rest of that just kind of happened.
Oh God.
I hope that investigation comes back with some real answers, because that's not what you never want to hear stuff like that. That's really tragic. And you know, condolences to all the lives lost. Hope everybody else can recover. But yeah, like people that are solely blaming Travis Scott here because they think that like he encouraged this. He has incited bad behavior at concerts before. He's a wild guy. He
got arrested at Lollapalooza a couple years ago because he incited a riot. Like, I mean, he lives for these mosh pits and everything that happens. Like, that's crazy at concerts. Like, he asks his fans to rage, and it's like nonstop, where jumping around, pushing.
Like, and that's all part of it. And obviously he just didn't see the extent of what happened. At least that's how it does appear from the videos that have been released. So yeah, obviously that's just an ongoing story. It's going to keep going for probably years because there's multiple lawsuits going out. I thought Drake got sued. I don't know what Drake had anything to do with. I know he came out during.
He was performing when people started going down.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, but this didn't seem like a situation where Travis Scott was to blame. I saw videos before the concert where people were just storming barricades.
Yeah.
Whether that was in a panic because there was somebody that was like harming others, or whether that was just they thought they could just storm through the VIP section, whatever that is, or wherever else in the festival. So like that's its own thing. It's a big mess.
Yeah. That's the thing with Travis Scott concerts. I mean, I went to Astroworld Festival. I guess it was now 3 years ago. And it was absolute madness. Like, there was no rules. It felt like there was absolutely nothing. I mean, that's the thing. Like, he encourages people to go through things and topple things. Like going through the VIP line, they toppled the fence and ran in. And
like, there was one guy that was following the rules, and he was zigzagging on the fence the entire way, and I thought that was pretty entertaining.
He was a rule follower.
He was a rule follower as he was breaking the rules, so it was like but yeah, Travis Scott, obviously, he incites some wild shit. This was not something that he incited, and he did come out and he's offering to pay, no questions asked, whatever the price of the funerals for the lives lost. I'm sure Travis Scott feels devastated by this. Like, this is not something you want. This is not a good headline for you and your brand. This is not something he planned or like incited. He may have been numb or blind to what was actually going on and how serious it was. He had just thought maybe there were a few people unconscious, which does happen because, again, people do drugs at concerts, don't drink water because they just hate themselves. And then he could have thought it was one of those instances. Clearly, it's much more serious than that.
Last thing on this I'll say is being there, I will say that it's kind of ridiculous how many people will get up close, because I know the year that I went, I think they had around like 50,000 people there. And I don't know, I've seen some numbers float around. I've seen 50,000, I've seen 75, and I've seen around 100,000. If there was really like any more than 50,000 people there, like that's too many. Like being there with what was around 50,000 there 3 years ago was, I definitely felt like I was suffocating at certain points. Not for the Travis Scott show, but I remember I went and saw Young Thug there first. I think he was like, whatever, it doesn't really matter, a few hours before on the same stage. And I remember just being like compressed and crushed between these people. And like, I remember sticking my head up, just trying to breathe air because it was so intense. So it's just one of those things. And I think that they probably oversold and they wanted to get as many people in coming off COVID last year and not being able to have it. So.
And then in addition to that, clearly it would appear that there were somebody or multiple people that were running through the crowd, like looking to cause harm. And that, like, that's its own like separate terrible thing in and of itself. Like, this was not didn't seem like an overcrowding issue, even though I'm sure that kind of tied into it. This was also like somebody was actively like running through the crowd with bad intentions, and it's terrible.
Okay, well,
let's try and move on to something more.
We'll move on to something a little bit more funny. I think, let's see, we want to talk about something like our worst first dates or our worst experiences on like a first meeting a girl. So that's
you said you had a good one, so I'll go first. I'll
you got yours
here. Save the best for last here. I mean, if we're just talking worst date, obviously we talked a little pre-show about another story that's not going to be shared on
that's not we're calling that one out.
That one's an off-air one. But worst date I've ever been on, there's a girl I matched with on Bumble. Obviously, I'm not going to say the name. We were talking for a bit. We would FaceTime. We would text, all that. That was all going great. We show up. I'm a very like talkative person. Soren, I know you know that obviously, but like anybody who doesn't, like I'll talk to anybody, everybody at any point in time. Don't give a shit. You get drinks in me, I'll talk to even more people. Like, so that being said, we go out, Taco Tuesday, get some margaritas, all that. There was like 6 words spoken the entire time, like by her. I would have to like look, and I hated this shit. Like, we would talk on FaceTime for like hours at a time. It would like no slow down in the conversation. Like, one of us would have to hang up because we'd have work at 6 a.m. the next day, and it would be like 2, and it'd be like, this is not responsible anymore. So we get to this date. I'm thinking like, cool, this is go great. Like, we've already had the basis of like talking, so there's none of the awkward shit. It was all awkward shit. I don't know how. Like, maybe I was meeting I don't know. Like, maybe she just had the worst day imaginable. She said her day was okay, but like, I don't know. Like, there was no like, oh, what about you? There was nothing. It was like silent. I could hear every chip and salsa that she ate. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been. And like, we talked about Puesto in Mission Valley.
Okay.
Decent place, good atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a nice place. Yeah.
Good music. Went there. got the chips and salsa and some margaritas during their happy hour. It was a good time. We're sitting outside, so like you couldn't really hear the music because this was like during COVID. And so we're there, we're eating, we're having a good time, or not having a good time. Should have been having a good time, but like no words being spoken, super awkward. And then food comes, we eat the food. The waiter is like all the way thrown off because he doesn't know how to react. He comes over and goes, "Are you enjoying your food?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's great." And she just like silently nods her head. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" So like after the date, we like met there separately. She went to her car, or like I walked her to her car, got in, hugged her goodbye. I walked to my car, get in, I drive home. I get back to my house with a text from her. It goes, "That date went great. Like I had so much fun." I was like, "How did you have fun? We said like 6 words to each other. I didn't even know what you did today." Like
yeah, that's like the first rule of small talk is like you talk about like, "Oh, what'd you do today? Oh, how was your day? What'd you do?"
Like it wasn't even like that was one thing, and then she was supposed to go out of town to go I think she was going like, what was it? I think like one of her friends just got like their pilot's license or had it for long enough where they could take somebody else in the air. So they were like gonna fly them around so they could experience that. So I was like, "Oh, are you looking forward to like going to," I think it was in like Montana. But I was like, "Are you looking forward to Montana to go like flying around?" She was like, "Yeah, it'd probably be fun." I was like, God. She seemed so stoked. She talked for like 30 minutes about it on FaceTime. Then we got there and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And I was like,
"Oh
all
my
right."
God.
Like at a certain point, like I just had to give up. Like I tried for probably like 30 different times trying to start a conversation, just nothing stuck. And so
that's when you just start throwing things. Like
yeah,
just the worst things, just anything. If like, anything will open her up.
Spaghetti tacos, like what do we think? Like I didn't know where the fuck to go. So yeah, that was a weird occurrence. Like most of the dates I'll go on, like good time, like good vibes, get a couple drinks. Even if we don't get drinks, we can go do whatever the fuck. And
extracurricular activities.
Nah, I'm not talking about that. I just mean like a date. Extracurricular, always a good time. But like, no, the date itself, like normally people very talkative, have a good time. Even if I don't see them, even if there's no extracurricular stuff attached to that, it's still like just a good time. I like talking to people. This one though made no sense. Like had so many conversations leading up to it, so many like lengthy conversations where it just like didn't stop. Then we get to the date and nothing. I don't know if she was like deathly nervous. Like I'm no David Hasselhoff over here, but like I don't know. Maybe she just got stage fright. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I guess like some people would be intimidated by you. Like our third co-host Taylor, when he first saw you, was pretty intimidated by you. So
talked for months about how he wanted to fight me, beat the shit out of me. Then I meet him, and he realized I was as tall as he was. And he goes, "Oh, what's up, man?"
Yeah, I'm Taylor.
All high. Okay, what's up?
Oh like, my God. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't. Where do I start? So I got set up with this girl. One of my friends was like, "Oh, because let's set the scene here. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. Jewish people don't exist there. Okay, let's just set the scene there." And so one of my friends was like, "Oh, there's like this Russian Jewish girl. Oh, no, she was Ukrainian Jewish girl. Like, oh, she would be like, you guys would be awesome together. Like, you should go on a date with her. Like, I'll set you guys up." I said, "All right, yeah, let's do this. Sure." And so set the scene. We go to this coffee shop. There's a big park right next to the coffee shop. And I walk in, I hug her, I say what's up, I buy her coffee, and like we are like really hitting it off. I'm like, this is going really great. Like there's no awkward silences. We're talking about, I don't know, music festivals or whatever, anything. I just remember it was going so well. And I don't know, we were probably like an hour in at this point. And she was like, "Do you want to go walk around the park?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go walk around the park for a bit." And so we get outside, and I don't know what just happened. Like, just something flipped, and it just got just poor. It was just bad. And so we talked for a little bit, and we went and sat on a bench, and we're just kind of like sitting there in silence. And I was like, there's got to be something to say here. What are we doing? And she said, my favorite color is green. What's your favorite color? I was thinking, I'm a red kind of guy personally, but what, like, where did this come from? Like, okay, sure. And so we kind of talked about colors for a good like 5 minutes, and we got up, started walking around again. Once again,
5-minute color conversation.
Yeah, like what?
Oh, man.
Like, how did we get here? And then we start walking around, and it is still so just dry. And I don't know. There's some sprinklers going on in the park. They're doing their little ba 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 ba, that kind of thing. And I was like, I used to love running through sprinklers when I was a kid. And she was like, oh yeah, me too. And I was like, I'm gonna go run through those sprinklers. And she was like, what? Why? I said, why not? Like, let's run through sprinklers. And she's like, okay. And I ran through the sprinklers thinking that she was gonna follow me. I will look back. She's just standing in the same spot, just like, just her face would just drop. And I was like, oh man. And I'm in like a white shirt. And so it is dead see-through. I ran through sprinklers for a girl on a first date just to try to impress her, just to do anything. And just to add insult to injury is she essentially after that, honestly, probably good thing that she did this. She said, oh, my friend needs me. I'm going to go. And so I was like, okay, like that sounds good. I don't have a car either because this is in Alabama. So she just leaves me and I am sitting at the park by myself. And I was just like,
in a soaking wet t-shirt.
I am soaking wet after running through sprinklers. I am sitting in a park waiting for an Uber or one of my friends to come pick me up. And so I call an Uber picks me up, whatever. Later that night, she texts me, hey, sorry for leaving you at the park soaking wet, but hope you have a good time or had a good time. And I said, thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey man, I applaud the running through the sprinkler move. That's like the AED to the date. Like you're trying to revive some shit. You're trying to get like some fun in there. I applaud that. Like I can't believe that didn't work. And then she left.
Yeah, like that was it. Like after I ran through the sprinklers for her, she just said, I think this is it. I think that's where we're gonna end this right now. And she just bailed.
Yeah. Like, man.
Safe to say, I did not see her again.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
To assume that.
Hey, you know, I mean, she just didn't appreciate the gesture there. I don't know why. Like that seems like a fun time. I've never understood that. Like, we're just trying to be fun, or something like that. I mean, if we have time for another, it's not a date that I went on necessarily. But I like
let's hear it.
All right. So I went out with this girl. We went out a few times actually. Like we went to a drive-in movie, went over to like the cliffs by the beach, like to have dinner, like separate occasions. We had a third one planned like the night after this occurred, and that we never made it to that date. But we were texting that week and she was like really stressed for finals or midterms or whatever the fuck. So super stressed out, right? And I had picked her up from her place the first 2 dates. So obviously knew where she lived. I'd met her roommates, chatted with them briefly. And she, like in our conversation, I had learned like, her favorite foods and stuff like that you just kind of talk about, like general information. So I learned that she loves Chick-fil-A, learned her favorite order. Learned that she loves fucking Talenti gelato, right? So like those are just things that you hear, and I'm just like, all right, for sure. Like,
cool.
I have a pretty stoner memory, but like I'll remember things on occasion. And I happen to remember those 2 things. So she's texting me like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think the date was like Thursday or something. Like super stressed, everything like that. I'm helping a couple of my friends like move out of their place. And they all kind of lived by San Diego State. So like it was all like the girl I was dating, I guess, and then my friends lived over there. it's really hard to leave out names here. But as I'm driving over, I'm like, she just texted me. This would be Thursday, day of the date. I think we were gonna go mini golfing or something like that. Something corny, whatever. She's on dance team at SDSU. You know what to do.
Cool.
Anyway, so driving over, and I was like, what would be really nice if I brought her like Chick-fil-A and gelato. Like I gotta go. Like my friends texted me that they were hungry. I was like, you know what? I'll get Chick-fil-A and I'll just stop by Vons. Like it is what it is. I'll do a nice little gesture here.
Real class act out here.
Yeah, thinking it would be like taken nicely. Like you always see the cheesy shit of like get a girl ice cream when she's not feeling great. So I was like, shameless plug for White Claw there. So I stopped by Chick-fil-A, stopped by the store, get all that stuff, drive over to hers. I leave it at her doorstep because she had like a Zoom meeting until like 2 or something. This was a little before then. Sent her a text. I was like, hey, when you get a sec, check your doorstep, left you something at home, makes you feel better. And went over to the friends. We ate all the Chick-fil-A, like I got us and everything. And then she texted back and she said, hey, saw that you left it. Why did you leave that here? And I was like, what do you mean? Why did I leave it there? Like, you were like, I was stressed during finals. It's lunchtime. Thought I'd bring you those things just
nice
to be
gesture.
nice. Doesn't have to mean anything else. Just to like help relieve your stress a little bit. She goes, thanks, that's nice, but I think this is moving a little too fast. And I was like, I mean, yeah, the ice cream's gonna melt if you don't get to it soon. But other than that, like I was just being nice. And she's like, I don't know, it just seems like a little much. And I was like, am I missing something here? Like I said, that was what I said in the text. I was like, am I missing something? Like, are nice people just not allowed to do nice things anymore? Like, I'm sorry. And
hey, Ryan, nice guys always finish last. Nice guys always finish last.
Is what it is. Is what it is. So she was like, yeah, I'm not looking for anything serious. I was like, we've been over that part. Like, I'm not either. We're just going on dates. You said you were stressed. You're a cool person. I brought you things that you like. And she goes, okay, well, like, thanks, but I have to go to practice. So like, I just kind of left them there. I was like, word.
Please tell me you swung back around and ate the Chick-fil-A.
So the friends I was with were like, obviously saw that I was confused by this text, and they're like, what did she say? Like, did she love it? And I was like, read for yourself. And then they look at me, and my friend was like, you know what we have to do? I was like, absolutely do. Let's get in my car. We're gonna go get that fucking Chick-fil-A. So that's exactly what we did. We drove to the house. We dumped it to Lenti in her bush. But we took the Chick-fil-A. It was very melted. But we took the Chick-fil-A, went back, had a meal number 2. Somehow she watches this. That's for you. I did a nice thing. Didn't get reciprocated. But you know what? I don't give a shit. That Chick-fil-A was delicious. 10-piece nuggets, double Chick-fil-A sauce, 2 fries. Loved it.
Hey, I love it. I support it. You got to save God's chicken, right? You got to save God's chicken.
Save God's chicken. The Chick-fil-A people may hate everything that's not this. But
yeah, I know.
But man, they make some good chicken. Well, yeah, that was just another example of
another one.
You can't win them all.
Yeah, all right. We'll move on to some of
Speaking of disrespectful things.
Yeah.
Let's get into this.
Yeah. Hey, I'll let you start it off here. All right.
So if you remember last week, we talked about little Browns versus Bengals. Browns were in Cincinnati. Browns, I believe, were 3-point dogs going in. Either way, we went in. It was like 41-17. We spanked the shit out of the Bengals. Battle of Ohio. We fucking run Ohio. It's fuck the Bengals, fuck the Ravens, fuck the Steelers. Browns are going back up to the top. We got rid of OBJ. I'm stoked about it. When he got injured last year, I was upset at first, thinking like, we're screwed. And then all of a sudden, our offense just took off. I don't know what it is, but our offense without OBJ, it's addition by subtraction. Hope he goes out to an NFC team so I don't have to see him ever again. But I hope he goes out, revives his career, I guess. But I'm stoked. Browns went in, spanked the shit out of the Bengals.
All right, yeah. I mean, I was definitely surprised. Because
I was surprised too. I thought it was going to be a very close game. It was not.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that. I am starting to think that the Bengals are all show and not really that great, considering that I mean, they spanked the Ravens.
They spanked the Ravens, lost to the Jets, spanked by the Browns.
Yeah, so it's a weird
one.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't really make any sense, but I don't know. It's Cincinnati.
They went into Baltimore and whooped them. Then they went to New York. That one, I kind of said they were going to lose. It was kind of just written in the stars as like the overlook game that you have every year, where like you look to your next opponent because the Jets suck. Turns out Thunder Mike White Lightning is absolutely sensational. And then then they go back home in Cincinnati, and then the Browns come in. Obviously, a whole bunch of like, where's Odell? What's going to go on? And then we just run a train on that whole team. Denzel Ward finally got a pick six. Good to see him making plays. Love that guy. Defense was just all out. We got a few fortunate tip balls. Like, it wasn't a complete like domination like you'll see, but it was very well played game by us. We didn't let them back into the game. We kept our foot on the gas, and that's what I love to see.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still in disbelief that you guys won by so much. Just honestly. I mean, the Chargers won, but they didn't make it look easy. So
they did not.
Nothing's ever easy as a Chargers fan.
Or a Browns fan, to be honest. To be honest, life is rough as a Browns fan too.
Yeah. Okay, so I see Mac Jones, dirty player.
Yeah. So I wrote that. I don't know if you've seen the clip, but
no.
Brian Burns, when they played the Patriots, the Panthers played the Patriots this past week. Mac Jones got absolutely obliterated on a drop back. Like, definitely is going to have headaches for the rest of his life after that hit. But then he fumbles the ball, and then Brian Burns starts running away, and Mac Jones grabs his ankle and does the alligator roll on it.
Oh.
And it looked like a super dirty play. Obviously, Belichick is going to come out and have his QB's back and just said, like, I'm pretty sure he thought he had the ball. I'm just trying to make the tackle. Then Mac Jones comes out, and he did seem pretty, like, genuine in what he said. Like, he didn't apologize, but he was like, I thought he had the ball. Like, I was just trying to make the tackle. I got hit pretty hard. So I was just like, first guy I saw, he was running away. So I just grabbed him and like tried to tackle him. It wasn't trying to be malicious or anything like that. And it seemed kind of genuine. And then Brian Burns came out, I believe today, and was like, is what it is. I'd love an apology. I'm not going to get it. I wish all my DNs happy hunting against that team for the rest of the year. Worth mentioning, the Browns and Myles Garrett go into New England this weekend. And that motherfucker is gonna eat. So Myles Garrett, I believe he's the NFL sack leader. He's gonna have a day. I hope he takes Mac Jones and drives him into the ground so hard that he thinks he's Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so,
he's gonna do like a little people's elbow on him. He's gonna do the whole thing. He's gonna get the
he's gonna and then jump off the top rope. So I'm hoping that.
I think now that I think about it, I saw him get hit, but I saw Mac Jones get hit, but I didn't see him do the little grab and try to do a little ankle or ACL tear kind of move there. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of
Like, I'm a fan of Mac Jones. I think he's playing great. That was just that wasn't great. That was not a great look. Just overall, could have been an accident. Who knows? But he did not come out and apologize. That kind of makes me think it was at least a little bit intentional on what he did. So who knows, really?
Roll
Tide. Roll Tide. Next talking point, I guess, is going to be OBJ on the move. I kind of mentioned this. He has not signed anywhere yet, so I mean, we'll keep it pretty brief. It's looking like Packers, Saints, Chiefs, and Patriots are the 4 potential landing spots. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Pat McAfee show, So obviously they have Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday. So I kind of would love to see Odell go there. I think that would be really fun. Packers are fun to watch. Browns will never have to worry about playing them unless I'm pretty sure we actually play them this season. So that would suck. But also, unless we happen to make it to the Super Bowl the same year they do. Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year. There's no AFC team that's like scary. Like, I don't care what you say. Browns are 5-4, and I think they're one game out of being the top seed. Maybe 2. I think the Titans might be 6-2 or 7-2 or something.
Yeah.
So other than them, I get with that's insane. The Titans as the number 1 seed in the NFL. I just don't know.
After they ran through the Rams, who were supposed
they
to be the
ran
best team
through
in the
the
league.
Rams. Yeah. This has been a weird football season. Just overall, AFC has no standouts. NFC is pretty top heavy. This is going to be one of those playoff runs where there's an AFC team that gets left out. Could be multiple that are like 10-7, and you don't make playoffs because of it. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, OBJ on the move, and actually read a report. Browns are on the hook for about $4.25 million of that contract after the negotiation. But I read something that said Odell is still interested in getting paid money from a team this year, not like only the vet min. Like, he actually, money is part of the conversation. And if that's the case, best of luck, Odell. Have fun in Detroit.
I could see the Patriots signing him. And then essentially, I could see them being like the only team that approaches him and pretty much just like, you're going to play for us. You're going to get the vet minimum, and that's how it's going to be. And then you're not going to hear about Odell being this person, this toxic person in the locker room. Like, after I've heard Chad Ochocinco talk about the time that he spent in New England, and it pretty much was just like, I was told to shut up, and like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to mess with Bill, and I don't want to mess with them because they run their training camp and their practices like the military, and they're just all just straight down. Like, we're here to work, we're here to play football and win. Yeah. So I can see him going to New England and tearing shit up over there. I would hate that.
I know the Packers have offered a vet minimum offer sheet to him, which I believe is $570K prorated for the rest of the season here. So I know that offer's on the table. He's still mulling over options. I mean, in terms of like Odell career contract wise, I think the smart thing to do would be risk the health, sign 1 year on a team like the Packers. I think the Packers set up perfectly for him because they air raid that offense. Yeah. They air it out. So I think if he's the wide receiver 2 over there, he stays healthy, plays well, gets to the playoffs, could even get a ring on that team because that team's for real. I still think it's the Bucs, but like Packers can be a Super Bowl contending team, no problem, with a QB like Aaron. But OBJ, you get him there the rest of the year, and then that opens the market this following season for him to get a bigger deal elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Who do the Browns play this week? Did you say the Patriots, right?
Patriots.
Okay. That'll be a good game. Is it in New England or Cleveland?
It's in New England.
Oh.
It's in New England. Not stoked about it. Last time Baker went to New England, which I think was last year, it did not go great. He threw a pick to a D lineman. The fumble, it was bad. It was not a great look for the squad. So I'm hoping we go in this week. We ride the momentum from this last week. Baker with that motivation, I think he's going to be. Oh, excuse me. I think he's going to be sensational. Keep riding the wave, and he's going to make moves. He's going to make things happen.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be crazy to see what happens. It'll be crazy. Sorry. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up our time. I have a bunch of stuff with Bama and LSU and some college football.
We can go through college real quick. I was gonna say, because Taylor's not here, and so Taylor's specialty is college football, and so I was gonna let him take it over, but we'll just give a little FU Taylor because Bama still beat LSU. Ed Orgeron, overrated. I'll say it again, overrated. And LSU, not good.
Bama barely won. I'll say that. They barely won. Their O-line played like absolute dog water. They got like something like 6 total rushing yards in the first half, which is the first time that's happened in like 20 years or something like that. Essentially, since Bama's been good, they've never rushed that that little amount. So they played awful, and they still beat LSU. I mean, LSU lost to UCLA at the beginning of the year. I'm never betting on LSU again. Fuck them. They made me lose to a bunch of UCLA football players. So I hate you, LSU, and I think you're overrated and you're irrelevant. Move on to Auburn and A&M. A&M won pretty easily. I don't know what the score was, but I remember saying it was pretty hefty. Auburn still sucks. I'm just going to go through all the teams here and say that they suck. Auburn still sucks. They're overrated as shit. Bo Nix, really, like, he will have one crazy play where he just pulls off something ridiculous, and then people are like, oh, Bo Nix is good. And then he'll have a game like this where he gets blown out. I think they scored like 3 points. And like A&M is not like they're not bad. I mean, they beat Bama, but they're also not a top SEC team at the end of the day. And Auburn is supposed to be a top SEC team when you supposedly have a top quarterback in the country. So they got run over by A&M, and I love it because I really do also hate Auburn. This may just be like an SEC section because the rest of the country's football really doesn't matter in college football because Clemson is
genuinely just
non-existent this year. I mean, I guess the Big 10, Big 12 is kind of gaining some traction a bit, but Cincinnati's up at the top. There's some interesting picks in the college football playoff ranking that just came out that I guess we'll talk about after I go through like these 3 games real quick. Auburn is playing Mississippi State at Auburn. Let's see. So Auburn's actually a 5.5-point favorite, minus 220. Mississippi State's a plus 180. As much as I would really like to see Mississippi State win, I don't think they will. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. Auburn at home is really unbeatable, even though they still have Bo Nix at the helm, which is for them, anything's possible to lose. But I think Mississippi State really doesn't necessarily stand a chance here. They lost last week and really dropped off the ranking. Oklahoma at Baylor. That could be a very interesting game. Was it Caleb Williams, who is he's the quarterback now at Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler gone. He's been absolutely insane. He's been very good. I think if he played the whole year, he probably would be in the Heisman Trophy contention. And I think that this game, if it's close, Baylor will win. I think it's at Baylor. Taylor's sister is going to be there cheering him on. The whole fam, I know the Davis fam is going to be out there just cheering him on. So like I could see Baylor possibly pulling this off. I mean, OU's only a minus 5.5, so I think it could really realistically happen. If they stop down Caleb Williams, then they'll be an easy win, or not easy, but they'll win. Now, I put Wake Forest on here because they are 13 in the country in the college football ranking. They were undefeated up until last week, and they're playing NC State. NC State, not great. Wake Forest was undefeated for this long. They got smacked by, I think it was Purdue last week, and their wide receivers were making honestly, NFL plays. Their wide receivers were dumb. They always come out and pull out some of these crazy wide receivers every year. So I could definitely, Elijah Moore, who had a great Thursday Night Football with Josh Johnson at the helm with the Jets. He came out of Purdue and he had a great, oh yeah. And so I think it's going to be, Purdue seems to upset. I think they beat Ohio State or Clemson a few years back, Ohio State a few years back. So I definitely think that Wake Forest is not, they'll win this week. I think the minus 130 is worth it. NC State plus 110. It's at Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest gets that dub pretty easily. Hammer on Wake Forest.
Yeah, I threw in as we were going through. I don't follow college football nearly at all, as you could probably tell from last week. I just learned Bo Nix is still in college. I thought he was like a teacher at a middle school now, but I went through and just highlighted a few things. I think Auburn. My bets for the week, having not covered college football or followed at all this year. Auburn -5.5. That's a lock. Baylor Bears +180. That's a lock. Wake Forest -130 on the money line. That's a lock. So yeah, parlay those together. I don't know the fucking odds. I'm not going to bet on it, but those are locks. California still has not legalized sports gambling. So Cali, get on your shit. But yeah, those are the bets for the week. We'll come back next week and I'll be 3-0 on those picks that I don't know why we're going to count it. I'm going to just look at it and I'm going to feel proud.
No, we'll throw money at Taylor because that's the least he can do for us.
Taylor. Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. I just want to say thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week. Hope to be coming out with more consistent basis, maybe every Wednesday or Tuesday, Thursday, in that 3-day period. We'll see what happens.
See how it goes.
Yeah. Follow us on TikTok follow us on TikTok. Cannot speak at the Degenerates Uncensored. Follow us on Instagram.
You're so close.
I know. Follow us on Instagram at the Degenerates Uncensored. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Soren Krinsky. And you can follow Ryan with his different tag that's not just his name.
Just going to be Ryan Anderson, 19. Easy enough. Name's Ryan. Last name's Anderson. Take the AN from the first name, from the last name. Just bam, merge it. Also, didn't really touch on it. Knicks go, Breeders' Cup champion. We got cleaned out, Eric and I. It was a rough day. Japanese horses. They won like 2 of the races. Yeah, it was honestly, it was a great experience. A lot of fun, bet a lot of money, but yeah, didn't win any of the money. So here's what it is. It's all about having fun. It was a good time. Atmosphere was great. I'll be back at Del Mar probably this weekend or something. And yeah, we'll get back to it. Bet the ponies always. Don't forget Auburn -5.5, Baylor Bears +180, Wake Forest -130. That seems like the show. Follow us on socials.
Yeah, hit us up, DM us, whatever, tweet at us, duet us on TikTok. I don't know, whatever you guys do nowadays. All right, appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week, and thanks for listening.
Peace.